Ireland planning to plant 440 million trees over the next 20 years.
Here's a summary of the article.
The Irish government has announced an ambitious plan to fight climate change, setting a planting target of 440 million trees by 2040, The Irish Times reported Saturday. A spokeswoman for the government's Department of Communications Climate Action and Environment told the local newspaper that the Climate Action Plan commits to delivering an expansion of forestry planting and soil management to ensure that carbon abatement from land use is delivered over the period 2021 to 2030 and in the years beyond. Advertisement. The plan sets out key actions to be taken by the Department of Agriculture, she continued, adding, the target for new forestation is approximately 22 million trees per year. Over the next 20 years, the target is to plant 440 million. According to the newspaper, the government's new plan has been met with some opposition from local farmers, who officials reportedly need to persuade to dedicate some of their holdings for new forestry in order for the country to reach its ambitious goals. The move comes after Scotland's Forestry Agency announced earlier this year that the country surpassed its tree planting goals last year, making what it called a critical contribution to the global climate emergency. The agency said 11,200 hectares, or some 43 square miles, of planting was carried out in last year, a jump from the government's yearly planting target of 10,000 hectares, which would be approximately 39 square miles. Reports say the planting led to more than 22 million new trees.
This post received a score of 26,711, with an upvote ratio of 94%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Unfortunately, it will be 70% cash crop conifers and only 30% broadleaf trees. Those cash crop forests are horrible barren areas. COILT, the commercial semi-state body, has been doing this for years. We need more broadleaf connected forests that are planted for the long term and not just for a financial return.
Those conifers are a disaster. They acidify the soil and the ground beneath them is more or less barren desert with zero life. It's a huge problem in counties like Leitrim. Paradoxically, there's more life in urban gardens and parks than those conifer wastelands.
What other vegetation grows with conifers?
Fennel, that's all I have ever seen grow in pine forests, a few inedible fungi as well.
See, in Washington state we have the conifery prod, but we have a ton of native plants that thrive in acidic soil, huckleberries, rhododendrons etc.
Yeah, seeing all these people rip on conifers is weird and wrong. Here in the PNW they are amazing and give the area life.
It's almost like taking native life and transplanting it thoughtlessly can be damaging unless it's done thoughtfully and carefully. Invasive what now?
Scotland will be the new PNW in 3.2.1.
Why isn't there more trees in Scotland? Every pic I see is just grass, rocks, and water.
I believe they cut most of the forest down for pastureland during the Industrial Revolution. There's a charity striving to replant the Caledonian forest.
Irish here, this is what you might call a lie. Our current government got seriously threatened by our environmentalist Green Party in the last election, and they've been spouting half-baked plans ever since.
Politicians lie there.
Of course. We in Ireland are extremely apathetic, and our government is usually politically homogeneous, very little real clash of ideas, very little ideological controversy. The perfect breeding ground for unchecked falsehoods or broad statements or platitudes.
That must suck. Our politicians here in the US are beacons of virtue. Their truthfulness is surpassed only by their Christian humility.
I giggled. Please accept upvote.
I really hope this isn't just another election propaganda piece from our government. Their response to climate action has been pathetic. We have some of the highest emissions and lowest area of forestry in the EU.
The worst, in fact.
They will be fully grown before the Dublin Metro is built. Mark my words.
Geez, those would be some slow-growing trees then, I reckon.
Yeah, I imagine if it's coiled then it'll be mostly farmed trees as stated in lots of posts here. Having worked and spent much of my life in and around these farmed forests, I can state with conviction that the only thing in these forests is trees. Walk beneath the canopy of these trees and the only organic materials on the ground will be dead pine needles. As reassuring as it sounds to bear that these trees will be planted, it's not nearly what is needed.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.